Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The Prime Ministers of Poland and Denmark, with President Andrzej Duda, officially launched the Baltic gas pipeline. The 900-kilometre-long North Sea gas pipeline system runs through Denmark and the Baltic Sea, and the final part is an onshore section on Polish territory. On the 1st of October, gas transmission to Poland will begin. The natural gas compressor station near Goleniów in the West Pomeranian voivodeship is one of 3 pumping stations that will distribute gas throughout the country. It was here that the opening ceremony of the Baltic Pipe gas pipeline, which will begin transporting gas to Poland in just 4 days, was held. The ceremony was attended by Polish President Andrzej Duda, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, Prime Minister of Denmark, and Norway's Minister of Gas and Energy, among others. Thanks to all these investments, and also thanks to the foresight of Polish President Professor Lech Kaczynski, the initiator of the construction of the gas port in Świnoujście, and also a great advocate of this gas connection, we have a gas port today. Few people expected that this investment could be completed on time. I myself had a huge number of doubts. After all, you know, it is not necessary to tell anyone out loud here today how many potential opponents and how much opposition this investment had, how many interests against this investment converged along its route.
With an annual capacity of 10 billion cubic meters of gas, the pipeline can bring gas from the fields on the Norwegian continental shelf and contribute to strengthening energy security in southern Scandinavia, Poland, and other countries in the region. President, you have been working hard for this day for many years.
The first idea of building a gas pipeline appeared in 1991, under the government of Jerzy Buzek. The first contracts were signed. However, in 2003, under the Leszek Miller government, they were cancelled. The concept was revisited in 2005 when Law and Justice came to power. However, under the Civic Platform government, the concept was left behind. Then came the Civic Platform government, which again abandoned and neglected this project and put it aside. The words that maybe we won't need this Norwegian gas because we have Russian gas after all, and attempts to tie it with Russian gas until a year, as we know today from documents, until 2045, sound in our ears today. And again the time came, the good time of implementing this project in 2016 to 2017. The government of Prime Minister Beata Szydło, and later my government, which implemented this project under the leadership of Minister Piotr Naimski. I would especially like to thank him as well from this place. Piotr, without you, there would be no project. We thank you very much.
Rząd pani premier Beaty Szydło I później mój rząd.
Otwarcie gazociągu Baltic Pipe powstało.
The opening of the Baltic pipeline came about through cooperation with the Danish and Norwegian governments. This is a historic day for the energy security of Central and Eastern Europe, and the pumping station here near Goleniów is becoming, in a certain way, the vibrant heart of Poland that will deliver gas to our homes.
Gaz do naszych domów.
The idea of importing gas from Norwegian deposits appeared as early as 1991, and during the government of Jerzy Buzek, contracts were signed which were later cancelled. The idea came back several times over the years, and work on the present shape of the Baltic pipeline started in 2016. The first idea for gas supplies from Norway appeared after the political transformations of 1989. The topic was raised in the 1990s during the government of Jan Krzysztof Bielecki, but the construction of the gas pipeline was raised after the beginning of the new millennium. The first government to put this pipeline on the agenda was that of Prime Minister Jerzy Buzek. In September 2001, a gas supply and pipeline construction contract was signed between PGNiG and 5 Norwegian companies. At the beginning of the 21st century, it was abolished by the government of Leszek Miller, which stated that it prefers Russian gas. He used energy arguments. During the Civic Platform government, the Baltic Pipe project was not finalised because Poland was bound by a contract with Russia. Therefore, the former government of Donald Tusk did not agree to take the gas in the amount that Norway wanted. I'm also talking about our predecessors who saw no need to build this gas pipeline. Today, the Baltic Pipe was symbolically opened. The gas will start flowing through the pipe on the 1st of October.
Today marks the end of almost 1 decade of planning, of construction and close strategic partnership.
Baltic Pipe jest narzędziem dobrym.
The Baltic Pipe is a good tool to transport 10 million cubic meters of gas. This tool, however, has to be filled, and here the politicians of Law and Justice failed. Because the talks were either wrongly conducted, or they thought that if they built the tool, the Norwegians would give the gas themselves. Well, that's not how it works.
No tak to nie działa.
Despite critical voices from the opposition, the Minister of Climate and Environment Anna Moskva, said that the gas will flow and will help Poland survive the upcoming winter.
W tym poczuciu odpowiedzialności
In this sense of responsibility, we are talking about another gas winter. The contracts are secured. Poland is on the safe side. We thank Norwegian partners for business cooperation.
za tą współpracę handlową, biznesową.
Meanwhile, on Monday, information about a gas leak from Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 circulated all over Europe. Today, someone has punctured Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. Tomorrow, they may puncture the Baltic pipe. In areas where there was a gas leak, the measurement station of the Swedish National Seismology Network recorded 2 strong underwater explosions. It is possible that they were caused by deliberate action. Day 216 of the war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian army is successfully repelling Russian attacks. Moscow, in retaliation for its failure at the front, is threatening the whole world with nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, Russia is struggling with a wave of desertions as a result of the mobilization announced by President Vladimir Putin last week. The bloodiest fighting is currently taking place in the Donetsk. The situation near Donetsk is very difficult. We are doing everything we can to stop enemy activity. This is our main goal now, because Donbass continues to be a priority for the occupiers. Ukrainian troops managed to fend off Russian attacks in the regions of Soledar, Zaitsev, Mayorsk, Bakhmut, and Pervomyaisk, among others. The situation in Zaporizhia remains tense. Local workers do not want to cooperate with the enemy and are trying to leave the areas temporarily occupied by the occupiers. The occupied part of the Kherson region is completely closed to entry and exit. Moscow continues shelling Ukrainian cities. In the last 24 hours, Russia attacked, among others, Mykolaiv, Zaporizhia, and the region of Nikopol. The mayor of Mykolaiv, Alexander Senkievich, presented the latest. There were attacks in various parts of the city. Currently, it is known about the destruction of many civilian facilities, including residential buildings and shops, as well as the water supply network. I ask everyone to be as careful as possible. Don't post your destinations on social media. My child was with its mother. We were lucky that the windows in this room are made of metal and plastic. I think we were lucky. This part just fell apart because the windows are old and everything is covered with debris. The ceiling is also damaged. In ruined buildings, the wounded are waiting for help, and the fatalities are waiting for a dignified burial. Dogs were used to search through the rubble. The soldiers were trapped under this collapsed building. We found some of them under the rubble and now are looking for others with the help of search dogs. We will mark the potential locations of the bodies and then we will dig the ground. The dogs gave us some clues as to where the bodies might be. We will check them, then the soldiers will remove the rubble to see if there are any remains. Ukrainian troops in the territories recaptured from occupation discover more evidence of Russian crimes. We are in temporarily occupied territory in the Kharkiv region. We are taking steps to evacuate the bodies of our soldiers of the National Guard of the Army Forces of Ukraine, volunteer battalions, as well as civilians who were under enemy fire, and their bodies were in this remote territory. Due to the waves of Russian desertion, the Finnish border guard wants to build a fence on the border. According to the proposal, the wall will cover up to 20% of the border, which is in total 1,200 kilometers in length. Satellite images captured huge lines of refugees from Russia heading towards Georgia and Mongolia. However, a significant proportion of Russians still believe Putin's propaganda. We took an oath that we would defend our homeland. Second, people need our help, and we will not leave them alone. I would like to remind you again, those who are deaf only hear themselves. Russia has the right to use nuclear weapons if necessary in predetermined situations. In the face of the constant threat from Russia, Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly at the United Nations Forum in New York recalled the importance of the unity and determination of the Western world.
President Putin informed that he will conscript more young people into his war of choice. He threatened our collective security with reckless and dangerous nuclear rhetoric. For Putin, this is a war to the death. For Ukraine, it is a war for life. Russia's war machine has caused enormous civilian suffering and destruction in Ukraine.
Turkey announced that Vladimir Putin is ready to start peace talks with Volodymyr Zelensky. When asked about this, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Moscow was open to dialogue, but that peace conditions would depend on the situation. In turn, President Vladimir Zelensky had previously announced that Kiev would not enter into negotiations with the Kremlin until the Kremlin ceased its criminal activities on Ukrainian territory. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.